What's up, Rapids fans? Welcome to another edition of The Rundown. And we're back after Leagues Cup is getting ready to wrap up here. And in the middle of that break, here at the Rapids, we signed a couple players of note. Forward Rafael Navarro from Palmeiras and Sidnei Tavares from Porto. Drew and I are going to discuss how those guys are going to fit into the group and how they will contribute to this Rapids squad. And afterwards, we're going to talk about our matchup against LAFC now that we will be back from Leagues Cup and the danger that that team poses, especially playing at BMO Stadium. That and more on The Rundown. All right, Drew, we are back now in MLS action after Leagues Cup, and of course, leaving that tournament earlier than we would have liked. It was a fun tournament nonetheless, but now we look ahead with what's left of the MLS season. And in that time that we've had just to kind of reset, regroup as a club, in the middle of all that, we've signed a couple players. Two in particular who were Rafael Navarro from Palmeiras, a forward number 9, and Sidnei Tavares, midfielder from Porto. You being at training, Drew, and seeing these guys firsthand before they make their debuts, what have you seen from them individually, what they offer individually, and how they're going to contribute to the group with their skill sets?
It's been a very focused and interesting couple weeks of training now that the Rapids have been out of Leagues Cup for a couple weeks now. And LAFC has been the main focus because that's the first game coming out of this competition. But getting players like Navarro and Tavares up to speed, get their legs under them, get them on the same page with the other players has been extremely important these last couple weeks. And really maintaining match fitness and match sharpness, which is always difficult when you have longer breaks, right? And so LAFC were in Leagues Cup a little bit longer, that they might have a bit of the advantage in match fitness and sharpness. Rapids might have a bit of fresher legs, but certainly the focus has been getting these new players up to speed and just keeping the squad focused and match fit on the whole. There's been an inter-squad scrimmage, which is always important when you don't have games on your schedule. But LAFC will be a huge first test, not just for Tavares and Navarro if they do feature, but for the Rapids coming out of Leagues Cup, having not played a regular season game in a little while now, and if they want to push for something here in the last third or so of the season.
So let's dive a little deep with Rafael and Sidnei in terms of their skill sets, what they offer individually, and how that can come together to help contribute to this group that I think, from the get-go, from the little bit that I've seen, Drew, and obviously you're at training and you watch these guys consistently, they have a lot to offer.
I've been encouraged with what I've seen from Navarro and Tavares, and I've seen a lot what I kind of expected from the two of them, right? Navarro, the number 9, that comes alive in the box. I said it when we signed him from the video that I've watched on him. He's a worker, man, and he's rugged, he grinds, and he's the kind of number 9 that I really didn't like to play against because he wants to feel you, he wants to use his body, and when the ball's out wide, when the ball is in advanced positions in the attacking third, he's trying to score goals, whether he's on the ball in that moment or not. And I've seen him put the ball in the back of the net in training several times. I know it's training, I don't want to get overexcited about it, but he seems to be a number 9 that the Rapids could use right now, right? Getting on the end of crosses from these wingers that we have. So I'm excited about Navarro, and certainly the same goes for Tavares. He's big, he's long, he covers a lot of ground, he has an engine, but he's a two-way midfielder, right? He sees the field extremely well. He's got a good range of passing, and I think he's going to help out a lot in the middle of the field with his work ethic, with the amount of space that he covers. And so, yeah, as you can tell, I'm super excited about these two signings.
Yeah, every reason to be excited about these two signings between Rafa and Sidnei, which I think they'll contribute quite a bit to the group. It might take a little bit of adjustment period. That happens with really any player that comes into MLS, but these guys look the real deal. So we're super excited to have both of them here at the club. And you mentioned that we have LAFC coming up. That's almost as big a test as you can get right now in this moment, coming back into league play and having to go to BMO Stadium and play them there, where it's a fortress for them. And with the 32-52 behind them, where do you see any sort of weaknesses with a team like LAFC to try to exploit them and try to get some sort of result out of BMO Stadium?
There's no weaknesses at LAFC. You look at their roster up and down, they're deep. They're deep in just about every single position. Obviously, Dani Bawanga has taken the league over by storm this season. Carlos Vela is still there, right, who you have to watch for. But if you are going to look for a weakness, you would say maybe the back line of LAFC, but that's unfair to an Aaron Long and to a Ryan Hollingshead and to some of the Giorgio Chiellini, like there's really not a weakness there. And so the Rapids will have their work cut out for them. But I do think with some fresh new faces, with some fresh legs, this is the most important game on the schedule, obviously. If the Rapids want to make a push here in the last 11 regular season games, it starts at BMO Stadium, at LAFC, the defending champs. But I truly believe the Rapids will be up for it. And they'll need to go and play their game, right? They'll need to try to look to hit LAFC on the counter. They'll need to defend well. They'll need to defend organized. But there's no reason to think that you can't go into LAFC and get something from the match, because this is still MLS. This is still both teams coming out of a break, an interesting competition, and I'm excited to see where the Rapids go with it.
Yeah, Drew, absolutely. There's still plenty to fight for, plenty of points to fight for what's left of this MLS season. And worth noting that back in April 1st, when we had LAFC here at Dick's Sporting Goods Park, that we earned that 0-0 draw. But I would say that the Rapids felt they wanted a little more than just the draw, felt they could have gotten a little bit more than probably the 3 points, quite frankly, out of that match. So speaking of LAFC, we spoke with the team ahead of their trip out to Los Angeles.
They're a very good team, obviously, and we have to be really good with our decision making and our recognition of opportunities that present themselves. And it's things we've been working on and things we'll continue to work on for the next couple of days.
I think we've just got to go there and go back to basics, really, be solid defensively. They're a really good attacking team, so I think if we can just shut them out and give ourselves a chance going forwards, then we've got a chance of winning the game.
So we've heard from the team leading up to that match against LAFC. Drew, we've discussed it at length now, but what are your keys to the match if we're going to really narrow it down to what the Rapids need to do to earn a result at LAFC?
You have to defend organized, right, with the attacking weapons that LAFC have, mainly because you have to keep an eye on Denis Bouanga. I think take the crowd out of the game, right? Early parts of the match, play in their half, play ugly if you have to, kick them if you have to, foul them a bunch of times if you have to, get them out of their rhythm. So you have to try to take them out of the match early and need to be opportunistic. Anytime you go to LAFC, you know you're gonna be under it, you know they're gonna have a lot of the ball. But with a new signing like Rafael Navarro, hopefully being able to go from the beginning, if he can get on the score sheet, if he can be opportunistic, if he can come alive in the box like I expect him to, it will be massive for the Rapids to get a goal or two there. It's a tough match. The Rapids certainly have their work cut out for them, as you would expect any team does going to Los Angeles, but there's no reason not to go in with 100% belief that you can get 3 points from the match.
Yeah, absolutely, Drew. And from the get-go, it'll be nice to see some of those new signings, particularly in Rafa and Sidnei Tavares, to contribute to the group, and especially against an LAFC side that's, again, we acknowledge that it's very difficult to find a weakness with a group like that, especially when they're at home with the 32-52 behind them. That'll do it from us for here on The Rundown.